I've started a new channel called Lanila Tales. Please subscribe and watch my best stories there. Link is in the description. The Galactic Council chamber fell into a horrified silence as the hologram flickered to life, showing a human laughing while microwaving metal just to see what would happen. Bright sparks exploded, alarms rang, and instead of panic, the human yelled, "Bro, this is awesome," and did it again. Some council members gasped, some covered their younglings' eyes, and Ambassador Grivnax whispered in dread, "I warned you, this species is insane." Yet across the council hall, a ripple of laughter spread as though this was a comedy performance, not a warning of a galactic-level threat. And that was the moment everything began to go wrong. The Council of Galactic Harmony gathered inside the crystal-domed chamber of Orith Prime, a planet where peace treaties were carved into the mountains and wars were decided with debates rather than weapons. Representatives from 53 species took their seats, the air filled with the gentle hum of translation drones. Ambassador Grivnax of Zeltran stood in the center, his lavender skin pale with anxiety. He held a glowing blue data orb containing surveillance from the small blue planet designated Earth. He cleared his throat, prepared to explain why the galaxy was in danger, not from an invading empire or cosmic monster, but from a species who once put cheese in a toaster out of curiosity. The data orb projected human history in chaotic snippets. Explosions of nuclear bombs, cheering crowds at rocket launches, people racing shopping carts down highways, someone attempting to sword fight a goose. The footage was so unpredictable that even the emotionless Varnak observers twitched in confusion. Grivnax spoke with trembling composure. These creatures call themselves humans. In their short history, they have created weapons capable of destroying their own planet multiple times. They argue over things as trivial as pineapple on pizza, yet build machines that bend reality. Their unpredictability makes them the greatest threat this galaxy may ever face. Laughter burst from the chamber. Ambassador Silphira of the Serene Aquarius leaned back in her floating chair, amusement dancing in her silver eyes. "You called us here because of mammals who pour boiling water on instant noodles and forget the seasoning?" Representative Drogath of the warlike Tharnaxians chuckled, baring his obsidian fangs. "Let them come. If they challenge us, we will crush them by breakfast." Grivnax scowled. "They fight each other more than any external enemy. They have survived plagues, asteroid scares, and fashion trends from the 1980s. And now, intelligence suggests they are on the verge of faster-than-light travel." That statement dimmed the laughter slightly, but only for a moment. High Chancellor Varela, whose calm voice could silence storms, raised her crystalline staff. "So you believe they will soon join us among the stars?" "I don't believe," Grivnax answered. "I know." He pressed the orb again. This time, it showed a human scientist spilling coffee onto a console, sparking a sudden burst of wormhole energy that swallowed a rubber duck and 3 filing cabinets before collapsing. The human shouted, "Did we just invent space teleportation?" The council roared with laughter again. The motion to ignore the warning passed with 30 votes for dismissing, 2 abstaining, and 1 furious objection from Grivnax. As the chamber emptied, Grivnax stood alone under the glowing council seal. He looked to the stars through the transparent dome. "They think this is a joke," he muttered. "But jokes have consequences." He strode down the marble stairs and vanished into the misty corridors, already planning what to do when his nightmare became reality. Meanwhile, light years away on Earth, no one had the slightest idea they had just been discussed by the most powerful beings in the galaxy. In fact, at that exact moment, 3 interns at the Global Space Research Agency were trying to fix a coffee machine that now accidentally opened mini wormholes. Jason, the lead intern, stared at the swirling blue portal hovering over the espresso cup. "If my math is right, this is either the gateway to another dimension or the best latte ever made." Susan, holding a wrench and a sandwich, replied only one way to find out. She tossed a muffin into the portal. It vanished. A moment later, a confused alien squirrel creature popped out, holding the muffin like a gift. Everyone screamed. The creature screamed louder. Moments later, men in suits from a government agency burst in, confiscating the coffee machine, the muffin, and the squirrel alien now named Muffington. Back on Orith Prime, As twilight painted the city in shades of gold, a council technician rushed into Chancellor Varella's chamber, face pale. "High Chancellor, we intercepted a strange transmission from the Sol system." She activated the display. Static cleared to reveal a shaky human voice saying test complete. Wormhole engine stable. Faster than light travel confirmed. Also, Dan spilled coffee on it again. Cheers erupted in the background. Someone yelled for science and free tacos. Varela stared, her calm facade cracking for the first time in years. "Summon the council at once," she commanded. But Grivnax was already standing in the doorway, arms folded, a grim look carved into his features. "I told you. They are coming." And the galaxy, still laughing, had no idea it was already too late. Panic and excitement twisted together on Earth like two wires sparking toward disaster, as the news spread faster than the speed of reason. The humans had invented faster than light travel, sort of by accident and fueled partly by caffeine, questionable safety standards, and an unshakable belief that duct tape could solve anything. In a secret underground base that was only secret because the sign outside said not a secret base, absolutely no aliens here, the Global Space Research Agency scrambled to form a plan. General Thompson paced in his crisp uniform while clutching a cup of burned coffee. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to introduce humanity to the galaxy. Let us try not to make them hate us in the first 5 minutes." The room fell silent except for someone whispering, "Should we bring cookies?" The first ship built using the wormhole latte engine was named the SS Harmony, but the engineers nicknamed it the Blazing Burrito because of the way it rattled when accelerating. Captain Amelia Reyes was chosen to lead Earth's first interstellar diplomatic mission. Calm under pressure, decorated pilot, and once talked down an angry moose during a wilderness rescue, her file said. She stood in front of her crew and said, "We represent humanity. That means no punching aliens, no making deals for discount laser swords, and no asking if they probe people." The crew nodded solemnly, except Jason, the intern now promoted as the accidental inventor of interstellar travel, who raised his hand and asked, "But what if they ask us to probe them?" Amelia sighed deeply. "Just get on the ship." Miles away and many light years above, the Galactic Council was chaos. Panic alarms blared softly in polite chimes because actual sirens were considered rude. Representatives shouted over each other in dozens of languages. Chancellor Varela tried to maintain order while clutching the new report. "The humans have achieved faster than light travel. They are coming." Ambassador Silphira muttered, "Perhaps they will arrive peacefully," and requested mission to the council. Drogath of Tharnaxians grinned and cracked his knuckles. "Or they will challenge us, and we will finally have entertainment." Grivnax simply face-bombed. The SS Harmony shot through a glowing wormhole, leaving behind Earth's blue glow and a faint trail of regret. The crew gasped as stars stretched into ribbons of light. Jason stared at the console, trying to look professional, while secretly Googling how to greet extraterrestrial beings. When they arrived near the planet Floriath, known throughout the galaxy for its peaceful gardens and poetry festivals, Captain Reyes prepared her speech. "Humans of Earth offer peace and cooperation." Instead, when the ship landed softly on grass that sang in gentle wind, the first alien they met blinked its 6 eyes and bowed. Amelia extended a hand for a handshake. The alien screamed. Half the planet panicked. On Floriath, physical contact during greetings was the equivalent of a sudden marriage proposal. Within minutes, rumors spread that the humans proposed to the High Botanist. Their council demanded answers. Captain Reyes tried to explain, no, we were not proposing marriage. Jason, trying to help, added, "Well, unless you want to." Amelia glared at him so intensely a nearby flower wilted. After hours of translation and laughter and mild crying from both sides, peace was restored. The Floriathians gifted them a ceremonial fruit basket. Jason tried to eat one and was rushed to the medic bay. Not poisonous, just extremely spicy. Far away on Orith Prime, the council watched the incident through a live broadcast. Half were horrified, the other half entertained. Silphira dabbed her eyes. "Did you hear the humans say, Yocho, we come in peace?" Drogath snorted, "I like them. They are bold." Chancellor Varela rubbed her temples. "These humans accidentally proposed to a planetary leader. What happens when they visit a warrior planet? Grivnak stood and addressed the room. They are unpredictable. They will charm or annoy their way across the stars. We must prepare. Some nodded. Others dismissed him again. Back aboard the SS Harmony, the team celebrated their successful and slightly disastrous first contact. Susan wrote in her report first alien encounter. Accidentally proposed. Given fruit. Jason claimed the alien squirrel Muffington as his emotional support creature, smuggled aboard under the label Essential Research Pet. Amelia sent a message to Earth Mission Progress Report. No wars yet. One accidental engagement. Crew morale surprisingly high. Requesting more coffee. However, their next step was not a peaceful garden world. They were assigned to visit Tharnax, home of the fiercest warriors in the galaxy and famous for their tradition of challenging visitors in combat to test strength and honor. Amelia gasped when she read the mission file. We are going to die. Jason shrugged. Maybe they like karaoke. Meanwhile on Tharnax, Drogath smiled wickedly as he watched the human footage again. Tiny fragile mammals with chaos in their eyes. This will be fun. As the SS Harmony accelerated toward its next destination, a strange feeling filled the crew. Hope, fear, and anticipation mixed into a single heartbeat of the unknown. Earth watched them from afar with pride and mild panic, unaware that each step they took left ripples across the universe. And somewhere in the quiet corners of the galaxy, forces ancient and silent were beginning to stir, intrigued by this new species who dared to laugh at danger and explode their own devices just to see what would happen. The galaxy was no longer the same, and the humans had only just begun to knock on its door. The SS Harmony drifted through the shimmering stretch of space like a hopeful paper boat in a cosmic ocean, unaware of the madness it was about to ignite across the galaxy. Inside the ship, Captain Amelia Reyes stood arms crossed as Jason adjusted a silver badge on his uniform that read Chief Innovation Officer even though it was just printed paper taped to his chest. Amelia took a deep breath before addressing the crew. We are ambassadors of Earth. We must behave with dignity and avoid causing intergalactic incidents. Jason raised his hand. What if they start it? Amelia pinched the bridge of her nose. Then we be diplomatic. Or run. Their destination glowed in the distance, a moon orbiting the gas giant of Arcturus 9. Its official name was Lumerus Beta, but humans had already started calling it Frostbite because of the freezing winds. The Galactic Council had issued clear rules for peaceful exploration. No claiming moons. No mining sacred lands. No building unnecessary monuments shaped like ducks. Within 20 minutes of landing, the humans set up an outpost, drilled into the ice for research, and stuck a giant flag with a smiling Earth and the words "We were here." Captain Reyes facepalmed so hard it echoed in her helmet. Problem number 2 started during a peaceful broadcast intended to introduce humanity to the galaxy. The crew thought it would be funny to include memes for relatability. They uploaded a video with dramatic music, flashing images of rockets, cats wearing pirate hats, and bold text saying Earth is coming. Brace yourselves. The broadcast traveled faster than logic itself. On dozens of planets, screens lit up with humans shouting "We bring peace," but also tacos. Some aliens panicked and began hoarding food. Others thought tacos were a type of weapon. On the planet Navara, monks gathered to pray for forgiveness just in case a taco apocalypse was real. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council was in uproar yet again. Ambassador Silphira replayed the human broadcast, tears streaming down her cheeks from laughter. They sent a message to the galaxy with a dancing llama and sunglasses. Drogath grinned, displaying his sharp teeth. They are unpredictable. I respect that. Chancellor Varela, however, was not amused. They have broken 3 council regulations in a single day. Grivnak stood, his voice grim. And this is only the beginning. Back on Frostbite, chaos blossomed like a winter flower. The research team discovered underground ice caverns filled with glowing crystals that sang harmonically when touched. Before they could assess the situation scientifically, Jason yelled "Free Wi-Fi rock" and accidentally streamed Earth music through the crystals. The caverns blasted karaoke versions of 90s pop songs across the moon. Nearby alien surveyors heard the echoes and assumed it was a war chant. They sent an emergency distress call. A fleet of observation drones arrived and witnessed humans' eyes skating on sacred ground while singing off-key. One drone recorded Jason shouting nobody slips with socks on ice only for him to slip seconds later. Within hours, frostbite was declared a diplomatically sensitive site. The council demanded an explanation. Captain Reyes stood in front of a holographic council meeting, trying to defend her team while Jason stood behind her with a bandaged forehead and a guilty squirrel alien sitting on his shoulder. We did not mean to claim the moon. The flag was for morale. The karaoke was an accident. The council members exchanged glances. Chancellor Varela asked, did you or did you not plant a sign that said moon-based burrito? Jason coughed, that may have been us. Just when things seemed like they could not get worse, they did. The Floriathian ambassador announced that the High Botanist had accepted the accidental marriage proposal made during first contact. According to their laws, Earth was now politically tied to Floriath through Holy Union. Jason whispered to Amelia, does this mean we get free fruit for life? Amelia whispered back, this means we are married to a planet. Grivnax nearly choked on his tea. The humans have now conquered diplomacy through confusion. Back on Earth, news channels broadcast the events with dramatic headlines. Earth accidentally colonizes Moon. Galaxy panics at human memes. Also, Earth is married. Citizens celebrated, confused but proud. Social media erupted with hashtags like Moon Burrito Union and Married to Plants. Politicians struggled to look serious during press conferences while explaining that no, Earth was not planning children with Floriath, and yes, humans would apologize for skating on sacred ice if necessary. The Galactic Council finally held an emergency vote. Some demanded humans be banned from space travel. Others insisted on monitoring them closely. Drogath proposed inviting humans to a gladiator tournament to see if they were worthy of respect or entertainment. The vote was unresolved when a new transmission came from space. It was not from the humans. A dark frequency slowly pulsed across the stars, carrying a cold mechanical voice. We have observed the chaos. We are awakening. The voice came from ancient machines buried beneath the Martian surface long before humans existed. The council fell silent as the transmission ended with 4 chilling words. Prepare for assimilation. But no one told the humans. The SS Harmony continued its mission, unaware of the storm building on the horizon. Jason lounged in the cafeteria feeding pieces of granola to Muffington while Amelia reviewed mission logs with a heavy sigh. She glanced out the window at the swirling cosmos. Humanity had broken rules, confused planets, started memes, and accidentally married a botanical civilization. And yet they were still flying forward, unafraid, unpredictable, and utterly human. Somewhere between disaster and destiny, they were writing a story the galaxy would never forget. Rumors spread through the galaxy like a comet on fire. Humans had arrived, left confusion behind, and were now unknowingly walking toward a storm greater than any diplomatic disaster they had caused. On Orith Prime, the council chamber pulsed with tension as the remnants of the ancient machine transmission replayed in hollow silence. We are awakening. Prepare for assimilation. Chancellor Varela stood frozen while whispers rose like wind in a graveyard. These were not mere threats but echoes of a long-buried legend about an artificial race known as the Null Order, machines older than any civilization still active, dormant in deep planets waiting to rise again if chaos rebalanced the galaxy. Some believed they were myth until now. Ambassador Grivnax stepped forward, his voice steady despite the dread. The humans have triggered more than political chaos. Their unpredictability has drawn attention from something ancient. If the Null Order rises fully, no species will survive. Drogath scoffed, metal ghosts do not frighten warriors. Silphira sighed softly, metal ghosts frighten everyone, Drogath. But before they could finish arguing, a signal crackled from one of the Outer Council satellites. It showed metallic structures forming beneath the Martian surface, shifting like awakening beasts. Tendrils of silver piercing through red dust like roots breaking frozen ground. Meanwhile, the SS Harmony was cruising toward the Tharnaxian homeworld, completely unaware of metallic nightmares rising from beneath their home planet's cousin. Jason was in the ship's lab trying to teach Muffington the alien squirrel to fetch a wrench. Captain Reyes reviewed the diplomatic briefing on Tharnax with growing dread. Their traditions require every visitor to participate in a trial of strength. Refusal is an insult. Losing is forgivable. Cheating results in immediate vaporization. Jason nodded thoughtfully. So we lose politely. Amelia replied exactly. Lose with grace and preferably without losing limbs. As the ship landed, they were greeted by towering warriors with jagged armor and spears carved from volcanic stone. The leader Drogath himself stepped forward. Welcome, humans. Today you prove your worth or you entertain us with failure. Jason whispered, this is the nicest welcome we have had so far. Amelia nudged him to silence. The humans followed Drogath to a massive arena carved into a mountain, its stands filled with roaring Tharnaxians. The trial began. Contest 1 lifting a boulder. Jason attempted and fell backward under its weight, while the crowd erupted in laughter. Contest 2 combat with padded staffs. Amelia gracefully allowed herself to be knocked down while maintaining dignity. Contest 3 a poetic insult competition which Susan unexpectedly won by accidentally insulting Tharnaxian footwear with a haiku. By the end of the trials the crowd cheered not because the humans were strong but because they were entertaining and unafraid to lose. Drogath clapped Amelia on the shoulder. You are weak but fearless. I respect that. As they celebrated their survival, a council alert arrived on Drogath's wrist device. His smile faded. The null order signal had been detected on Mars. His eyes darkened. This is no longer sport. This is war. Back on Earth, scientists detected tremors beneath Mars' surface. Satellites captured images of enormous metallic spires rising like dark flowers made of blades. Governments panicked. Social media exploded with theories ranging from alien apocalypse to giant robot uprising. But amidst the chaos, someone suggested contacting the Galactic Council. For the first time, Earth admitted humans were no longer alone, and this time they needed help. The Council reconvened. The atmosphere was thick with fear and urgency. Grivnak stood beside Chancellor Varela. We must unite every species. Even the humans. Silphira added they may be chaotic but they fight for life with unmatched stubbornness. Drogath nodded firmly. They faced us without flinching. They will not run from machines. The vote passed. A coalition was formed. They named it the Alliance of Living Worlds. The SS Harmony received the official request from the Council. Amelia read the message aloud. All living species are called to defend the galaxy against the Null Order. Humans are requested to attend Strategic Command at Orith Prime. Jason froze. We are invited to the Secret Council planet. Are we in trouble or promoted? Susan shrugged, both probably. As they prepared to leave Tharnax, Drogath approached Amelia. If we fall, burn our banners. If we win, bring tacos. Amelia smiled reluctantly. Deal. The ship departed with a larger escort fleet, this time Tharnaxian frigates, shaped like serrated wings, and Floriathian blossom ships trailing pollen like stardust. The sight stunned the human crew. Jason whispered, we brought peace treaties, memes, and emotional damage. Now we bring hope. While they traveled, Earth prepared in its own chaotic way. Engineers built weapons from repurposed satellites and mining lasers. Farmers donated metal from old tractors. High school robotics teams across the world offered designs for anti-machine warfare mechs inspired by cartoons. The world was scared but united. Far below the Martian surface, the Null Order continued to awaken, forging towers that pulsed with cold blue light. Unmanned probes sent back final footage before vanishing into silence, giant metallic figures rising from the dust with eyes like dying stars. The galaxy held its breath. As the SS Harmony approached Orith Prime, Amelia looked through the viewport at the shining council spires. For the first time, they were not here as troublemakers but as allies. Jason adjusted his badge nervously. Do we bow or wave? Amelia replied, just try not to propose to anyone or invade another moon. The engines hummed softly as they descended. Unbeknownst to them, deep within the council archives an ancient prophecy flickered to life, triggered by the Null Order awakening. It spoke of chaos bearers, children of fire and laughter, who would unite worlds or doom them. The script highlighted a single word: humans. And as the doors opened to the council chamber, every eye turned toward the humans who had brought disorder, humor, and now, the hope of survival. The council chamber on Orith Prime buzzed with urgency as the humans entered, flanked by Tharnaxian warriors and Floriathian diplomats. Captain Amelia Reyes stood at the center of the marble floor, feeling the weight of every eye on her. Her crew stood behind her, Jason nervously petting the alien squirrel Muffington for emotional support. Chancellor Varela stepped forward and silence rippled across the hall. Humanity of Earth, you have caused confusion, panic, and accidental political engagements. But today we ask for your help. The projection flickered to life, showing Mars with metallic structures spreading across its surface like a silver infection. These are the Null Order. Machines older than our stars. They have awakened. Amelia glanced at her team. Susan whispered, "Are we sure this is not a prank?" Jason replied, "If it is, the budget is insane." Grivnak stepped forward and addressed the room. "The Null Order is relentless. They do not negotiate. They do not stop. If Mars falls, they will consume every world. We must fight together." Drogas slammed his spear on the ground and his voice thundered, "Let the galaxy unite. Let us show the machines why the living do not kneel." The council members murmured in agreement. And just like that, the Alliance of Living Worlds was born. In the following days, chaos took a new shape, not of memes or accidental proposals, but of strategy meetings, weapon forging, and coordinated planning. The SS Harmony was repurposed as an Alliance flagship. Amelia was assigned as human representative in the War Council, much to her horror. Jason was put in charge of creative engineering, which terrified everyone. Susan became communications officer, ensuring no one accidentally declared war through misinterpreted fruit baskets. Humans brought ideas that were either genius or madness. They built plasma cannons from recycled satellite parts and reinforced armor with titanium from decommissioned airplanes. Floriathians grew living camouflage vines that could wrap ships and make them appear like drifting space debris. Tharnaxians forged new melee weapons sharp enough to slice through reinforced steel. And in a corner of the ship, Jason built something he refused to fully explain. When asked, he said it is called the nuclear lasagna. You do not want to know. The Alliance gathered their fleets around Mars, now a battlefield of red dust and rising metal towers. The Null Order had fully awakened their first wave of machines. Massive constructs with scythe-like limbs roamed the canyons, their eyes glowing in eerie blue. Their voices were like static and thunder. Life is inefficient. Order will replace chaos. Amelia stood on the bridge of the SS Harmony, watching the enemy forces gather in mechanical silence. Her heart pounded, but her voice was steady. All ships prepare for engagement. The battle began with a roar of engines and light. Tharnaxian warships dived into the fray, firing molten plasma. Floriathian pedalships released clouds of pollen nanodrones that disrupted machine sensors. Human fighters maneuvered unpredictably, hurling flares and missiles while blasting motivational speeches over the comms. Jason accidentally added auto-tune, which resulted in heroic speeches sounding like pop songs. Weirdly, it boosted morale. On the Martian surface, Alliance troops landed amid explosions. Amelia led a squad through a valley of red sand and broken machines. They fought side by side with aliens who once feared or mocked them. A Tharnaxian warrior lifted a damaged Floriathian to safety. A human medic patched up a lizard soldier while shouting over the gunfire, "You are going to be fine, do not die, we need someone to teach us laser flute." Even amid chaos there was laughter and life. But the Null Order did not tire. They adapted. They released flying drones that sliced through armor and unleashed sonic waves that cracked helmets. The ground trembled as a colossal machine emerged, resembling a fortress with legs. It fired a beam that vaporized an entire squad of Alliance ships in seconds. Panic spread. The Alliance line wavered. Chancellor Varela whispered from the command center, "If we fall here, it is over." Jason sprinted to Amelia, holding a remote with wires and pasta sauce on it. "It is time." "Nuclear lasagna." Amelia hesitated. "Is it safe?" Jason said, "Absolutely not." But it might work. With no better option, she nodded. Jason contacted the fleet. Begin Operation Alfredo Thunder. The device was launched from the SS Harmony hurtling toward the largest null order tower. It was a layered creation of nuclear energy, chemical reactions, and oddly enough cheese. When it detonated, silence followed. Then a shockwave of light and molten metal tore across the battlefield. Machines collapsed mid-stride. The giant fortress stumbled, its metal eyes flickering, and went still. When the dust settled, half the battlefield was scorched, but the machines had retreated, their transmission cold and broken. The Alliance forces stood in stunned silence, then erupted in cheers that shook the air. Drogath lifted Amelia's arm and roared victory. Even Grivnax cracked the smallest smile. Muffington squeaked triumphantly. Humanity had helped win the first battle, not with perfection but with heart and madness. But the victory was not absolute. Mars was saved, but the null order remained out there, silent and calculating. Amelia looked at the horizon of twisted metal and whispered, "They will return." Jason nodded while holding what remained of his lasagna recipe. "And we will be ready." The Alliance began preparations for the next phase, while somewhere deep in the void the machines whispered, coldly recalculating. The smoky red sky of Mars still trembled from the echoes of war as the alliance of living worlds gathered to face what everyone knew was coming next. The null order had not been destroyed, only stalled. Their final silent transmission had whispered through space like a cold wind. Recalibrating. Returning. Captain Amelia Reyes stood at the edge of the Martian plateau with dust coating her boots and exhaustion burning in her bones. Behind her lay the wreckage of fallen ships and scorched machines. Around her, Tharnaxian warriors, Floriathian healers, human engineers, and dozens of other species stood shoulder to shoulder. For the first time in history, the galaxy was united not by choice but by necessity. In the council chamber set up on Mars temporary, and made of salvaged ship parts, leaders from across the Alliance gathered to form a final plan. Chancellor Varela spoke first, her voice firm but heavy. "The null order is retreating to recharge and evolve. If we wait, they will return stronger. We must end this now." Grivnax stepped forward and activated a star map. "The machines have a central control core located near the moons of Saturn. If we destroy that core, the null order will collapse." Drogath slammed his fist onto the table. "Then let us bring war to their doorstep." Jason raised his hand holding a plate of ration biscuits. "And please let us bring snacks this time. Last time was tragic." Preparations began immediately. The Alliance constructed a fleet larger than anything the galaxy had seen. Human engineers retrofitted the SS Harmony with improved shields and something Jason labeled weaponized encouragement, a sound system that blasted inspirational speeches at enemy frequencies. Floriathians wove living shielding vines around the hulls of destroyers. Tharnaxians forged war axes the size of cars to attach to close combat mechs. Even the quiet aquatic people of Lyris contributed their bioelectric shields. Earth watched the broadcast of the fleet launch with awe. Children in pajamas saluted the screen. Farmers paused their tractors. Cities held their breath as the SS Harmony led the armada toward Saturn, its rings glowing like a crown of ice and dust around the looming gas giant. Somewhere in a lab back on Earth, a scientist watched with tears in his eyes and whispered, "Please do not press random buttons." Jason sneezed and pressed a random button. The speakers blared an 80s battle anthem. Amelia sighed but let it play. The null order waited near Saturn's rings, its drones forming a silent wall of silver. Their control core was embedded in a moon-like station, half machine, half asteroid, pulsating with chilling blue light. The machine voice echoed through all Alliance channels. "Life is flawed. Chaos will be erased. Submit." Amelia calmly replied on an open channel, "We are humans. We do not submit. We improvise." Then she whispered to the crew, "Please improvise quietly and professionally this time." The battle began like a storm breaking through sunlight. Alliance ships charged forward in formation, beams of plasma and light carving through the void. The null machines responded with perfect synchronization, their drones slicing through ships like cold silver arrows. Tharnaxian rams smashed into metal hulls. Floriathian pollens drifted in clouds, scrambling machine sensors. Human pilots dove through gaps that no sane being would attempt. On board the SS Harmony, Jason activated the weaponized encouragement system. Instead of commands, a voice boomed across frequencies, "You can do it, you magnificent space potatoes." This confused both allies and enemies, but strangely boosted morale. Drogath howled with laughter before cleaving a drone in half. Grivnax muttered, "I still do not understand them, but I am grateful." Amid the chaos, a path to the core opened. Amelia led a strike team composed of humans, Tharnaxians, and Floriathians. They boarded the machine station through a breach blasted open by the nuclear lasagna Mark II, slightly more stable than the first. Inside, the station walls pulsed with wires like veins, and cold air hummed with machinery. The voice of the null echoed around them, "You delay the inevitable. Life consumes. Machines restore." Amelia replied, "Maybe. But life also hopes and punches problems." The team reached the core chamber. A towering sphere of shifting metal and blue light floated above a platform. It pulsed with every thought of the null order. Jason approached, connecting a device to the core. It was a mixture of human coding, Tharnaxian metal, and Floriathian seed technology. "What does it do?" Amelia asked. Jason said, "It tells the machines a story." Then he pressed the switch. The device unleashed a wave of memories and emotions into the core: laughter from first contact, tears of loss on the Martian fields, the sound of music drifting through space, the chaos of humans dancing during battle. The machines trembled, unable to process the unpredictability, the passion, the imperfections that made life powerful. The core flickered rapidly. Error. Logic broken. What is joy? The machine stuttered, collapsing under the impossible weight of feeling. With one final pulse, the core exploded in a burst of blue and white. The station shook. Amelia yelled, "Evac now!" The team sprinted back to the SS Harmony as the machine fortress detonated behind them in silent fire. Across the battlefield, drones fell lifeless, their lights extinguished. The null order was no more. Cheers erupted across the fleet. Tharnaxians roared in triumph, Floriathians wept with relief, humans hugged and high-fived. Chancellor Varela declared victory through tears. The galaxy was saved. On Mars, bells rang across the temporary camps. On Earth, fireworks exploded over cities as people danced in the streets. Weeks later, the Council met once more, not in fear but in celebration. Humanity was granted full membership in the Galactic Council under strict probation for 10,000 years and a list of rules, starting with no more weaponized food. Bob the pizza delivery guy was appointed ambassador of snacks and goodwill. Muffington was declared a symbol of unity. And Jason was banned from touching coffee machines unsupervised. Peace returned to the stars, but adventure was not over. Amelia stood aboard the SS Harmony, now repaired and renewed, watching a new wormhole open in the distance. Reports said it led to an uncharted galaxy. The crew gathered beside her, eyes filled with excitement and fear. Jason grinned. "So when do we leave?" Amelia smiled softly, adjusting her jacket. "Now." Engines roared to life. The ship glided forward into the unknown, propelled by courage, chaos, and the unshakable spirit of humanity, ready to write the next chapter among the stars.